You only need two people making $20 an hour, 40 hours a week to buy a $350,000 home with $500 down. Or you just need one person making $75,000 a year. Owning a home is not as hard as you think. The percentage of people under 30 that have been buying homes have been dropping every year. And a lot of people are just renting forever. There's so much fear about buying a home now that didn't exist before. Even though there's more information online to make owning a home more easy. I understand it's confusing information and people give conflicting advice. You only need to watch one channel to understand what you need to do to buy a home. And that's mine. I've been a nationwide mortgage lender for 30 years and I've seen all budgets buy a home. Unlike other mortgage lenders, I'll check out your finances and tell you what you need to do. No matter if you're 21 or 51 and you want to buy a home, this is what you need to know. The credit score that apps and banks show you are not the actual one that mortgage lenders use. I just had a guy the other day say that his credit score was a 733 and it showed on Credit Karma. And then I went to pull his credit score and it was really a 669. It didn't inhibit him from getting a home, but it's crazy because it was 70 points off. One of the first things I want to say is don't be afraid to buy a home alone. In fact, that's better in most cases because then there's no legal confusion on who owns the home. However, if you're in a relationship, you need to protect yourself. You could think that this relationship is forever or you're going to get married and then you're not on the title. And then if you break up and you put any money into the house, then it's going to be gone. So if that situation sounds like something you might be in, you should do a quick claim to get your name on the title too. And this is something that I could help you out with. Going back to buying a home alone, it is a total myth that you need $20,000 to save up for a home. I've gotten so many people into homes with $0, $500, or $2,000 down. And the biggest glitch in the matrix is there's so many loan programs that you don't even know about. Because unfortunately, they just don't advertise them very well. If you're stuck in an endless research loop and trying to find your options, which I call going down the rabbit hole, you need to stop and just talk to someone like me. You're probably just wasting your time because there's not enough information out there for the public. Just talk to me and I can make it very simple for you with a 5-minute conversation. I think the 2008 market crash spooked a lot of people because people were having to sell their homes at a loss. But let me explain why that's probably unlikely to happen again. Since that happened, there hasn't been enough homes that are being built to create that deficit. And it's almost impossible to catch up now. Because there's not an excess of inventory, it's almost guaranteed that home prices will go up as long as you're in a reasonable location. That is fear number one that I don't want you to worry about. Fear number two is about rates. Timing the market is gambling. You cannot predict what's going to happen, so buy it now and refinance it when rates drop. Because getting into a home at the home prices today is better than waiting for a rate. Because you will be full of regret in 5 years when you realize that home's equity has shot up already. Let me repeat myself. If you wait for rates to go down, home prices just continue to climb. So, do not have a fear of rates. Fear number 3 is about buyer's remorse. I don't want you to think of your first house as a big emotional investment. It's just a tool to get you to the house you actually want. Think of it as a stepping stone to your dream house. As long as you consider resale value and rentability, you'll be fine. That way you won't be stuck with a second mortgage when you're buying a better home in the future. Because with those two options, you could always sell it or rent it out. You just need 3 to 6 months savings in a bank because it's almost guaranteed you can get it rented out in 6 months. This is a calculated risk because you could have vacancy and bad tenants, but the wealthiest people in the world do this all the time. And if you're willing to take a little bit of risk, then you could become wealthy too. We all have to start somewhere, and the first time is always going to be the scariest time. But just trust me, this is another fear you don't need to worry about because there's people like me and other people on YouTube that can walk you through the process of becoming a landlord. And fear number 4 is for doomsday people. A lot of people think society's failing and it's pointless to buy a home, or they're just not going to live long enough for it to matter. There's a higher percentage that you live into your 80s and 90s with today's healthcare. I strongly advise you to prepare that you're going to live that long. No matter if you're investing for yourself or your kids, real estate works best when you give it time. That's why buying a home yesterday is going to be better than buying it today. Even if you think you're not going to survive and World War III is going to happen, even having 2 or 3 years in the market is going to be a great benefit for you. It's better to get some return than to lose your money to rent every month. So look at it this way. Even if there's an apocalypse, you'll still have a home to hide in. Fear number 5, I'm going to talk about 2 things. The fear of not qualifying for a loan and that no one taught you this stuff. So first of all, I'm teaching you right now. You do not need a family member to teach you this. You literally just need someone that cares and knows the information. Your parents didn't teach you math, right? You learned that in school. And consider this some free schooling right now. And if you fear that you're going to be denied for a loan, this is my motto: no loan left behind. So it's not about if you can buy a house now, it's about when you can buy a house. And one thing we do differently is we give you a plan when you can buy a home. And sometimes you just have to wait a month for it to make sense. So before you start looking for houses, please contact a mortgage lender like me, because I don't want you to waste your time and not know what you qualify for. I'm going to tell you one more bonus fear. So if you're a parent and you're afraid to help your kid buy a home, let me tell you the benefits of doing so. I know it's not the American culture to help your kids out after 18, but if you want your family's legacy to have generational wealth, copy what the wealthiest people do. And it's not going to be as big as a financial burden as you think. It's more about setting them up so they could do it on their own. First thing is to make sure they have a decent credit score, and you can achieve that by having them to be an authorized signer on a credit card you already have. And you can start that as young as 16, and you don't have to give them the credit card. Or you can do it when they're 25 or 30. It doesn't matter how old they are. This gives them a better credit score because it increases the age of their credit history and their credit limit. And that makes up 35% of your credit score. And you need to educate them not to have a large credit card debt or too high of a car payment. And ideally, they should really buy a house before they buy a car. Or the car that they get doesn't have a high monthly payment. And it's even better if they pay in all cash for the car. This increases their buying power on a home. So once you help them out with their credit score, teach them how to budget a little bit so they can save up $2,000. There you go. They're ready to buy a home, because you don't need a huge down payment to get into your first house. And I know the secrets to get you into your second house with a low down payment too. And if they're not working and don't have enough income, you can co-sign as a non-occupant co-borrower on the loan. This is the part where you might need to trust your kid a little bit. So if they default on the mortgage, you're on the hook for it. But this is how the wealthy help their kids build generational wealth. So it's not a bad idea to try it out. Or like I said before, you can rent it or sell it, or you can have your kids get roommates. So these are all the reasons why you shouldn't be afraid to buy a house. Contact me or go to the link in the description, and I look forward to hearing from you.